This tutorial looks at the various transcoding options within Soundminer V45pro. Firstly, there are three areas that control the transfer routes. The first area we'll look at is the main preference pane found here. In this pane, you can set the default sample rate, bit depth, audio format, and the target directory. You can also specify the outgoing file naming conditions. This area is designed for those working with a local audio workstation like Avid Pro Tools, which is why the formats are limited to AIF and WAV. Outputs from the project area are also governed by the conditions set here. To explore in more depth this manner of working, see our advanced spotting tutorial. For our purposes here, however, we'll explore a simple conversion to a folder. And to do that, make sure your DAW menu is set to no DAW. This effectively means you're not working with an audio workstation, but instead choosing to go to a folder or directory. And even though we may have set a transfer directory in the preference pane, we can override it in the spotting panel and right here on the interface. Let's do a quick simple batch conversion to illustrate. I'm going to direct a conversion to my desktop. When you've selected your files, picked your target destination, and set your conversion parameters, use the Bring Into feature. This option may be found in your toolbar, and it's available in the Edit menu and can be accessed with the key combo Command-B. This copies and converts and deposits the newly created files into your destination and optimizes the metadata in the format selected. I selected AIF, so V45pro has optimized the ID3 containers so iTunes can see those fields it supports. Now, iTunes doesn't support a large number of fields as you can see here, but if your Mac has an ID3 reader built in, you'll get a little bit more info in the Finder. Now, this might be a good time to also mention that while we do the same for WAV, iTunes and the Mac Spotlight function does not bother to read the metadata from WAV files. The second transfer route is through the single transfer mode. This does not support batch conversion, but it's rather better suited for those occasions when you need a quick export to a format. It's best used for local work with an Avid Media Composer or a sampler, or those times when you need a quick MP3 conversion of a file. The settings are controlled down here on the left. Click the wrench icon to bring up the settings. These settings are totally independent from your main settings and your preferences. Once you've set this, you can select the whole file or a portion, click, and hold the drag button. This will initiate a conversion, and you can see the red progress bar around the radar screen. Now you can drag it to your destination, like your desktop, or if you let go, it will deposit the converted file in the location marked in your settings pane. And as you can see, the metadata has been preserved in the transferred file. The third transfer route is designed to do larger batch conversions and impose a structure on them that either mimics the originating folder structure or creates a new one based on some preset options. This is what we call the mirror feature. To begin, select some or all of your files. Go into the database menu and select Mirror. It'll bring up this window, which has several options. If you have a publisher module license, you will have access to all of these formats. If not, then you won't be able to work with MP3s or AAF MXF formats. One can purchase the MP3 converter, which is a low-cost utility that does create MP3s while preserving metadata, and the AAF MXF is a format specifically designed for the Avid Media Composer and allows metadata to persist when importing in their system. The Avid can play WAVs and AIF files, but it will strip the metadata from those files, which is why this specialty module was created. The AAF container is not playable, but a transport medium that holds the metadata and the MXF audio file, which is Avid's native format. When dropped into an Avid bin, it expands, putting the metadata in the bin and the MXF audio in the Avid's audio file folder. Moving down, these options determine how the files will be exported and organized. You can establish your own file naming convention as well as determine all the hard attributes of the new files. In each case, when metadata is embedded, V45pro will optimize as many containers as possible to make the file as compatible as possible across systems. This is an example of the organized structure mirroring creates, making it easy should you need to export all your files in some other format with all the metadata intact.